Let's not incorporate jingle bells. Welcome to this episode of the Conspiracy Cast, right here on Tales of Earth, a show where we, thank you, talk about various conspiracies, theories, and oddities, and mysteries, and all the things that are usually found in episodes of The X-Files. So,
he went off script and he's
off book. Yeah.
He's off book.
We do this live on twitch.tv/comicstorian every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you want to support us, you can support us by subscribing to this channel right here on Tales of Earth. The Tales of Earth channel. Tales of Earth. Why can I not say Tales of Earth?
Struggling today.
That's because I start laughing and I start cracking myself up and I just
well, as long as you make somebody laugh.
Goodness.
You can also support us by following us on twitch.tv/comicstorian and buy some of our Tales of Earth merch.
I'm actually wearing one.
I think we have some up there.
I am not.
That is not Tales of Earth.
No.
You can even buy Andy a dinner.
I eat light.
Yeah. You what?
I eat light.
Oh, wow.
I do, unless someone else is paying. I'm just kidding.
You eat light or you eat light?
Light. Like, I don't eat a lot of food.
Oh, okay. I imagine like...
He actually gets a flashlight and he's like...
why are we struggling with this?
You know, I thought you meant like you eat light. Like the substance.
Just read
light.
the script.
He's like, I prefer ultraviolet to the infrared.
Sure.
So,
The right seasoning, though.
a sprinkle of infrared.
You can also go to patreon.com/comicstorian where you can get access to this show as well as other shows. Early access. And normal access. Okay, so, and with me today, I have... Who are you?
I am Dan T, producer on Twitter and Instagram, Dan T, streamer on Twitch.
Oh, my Lord.
And you are?
I'm Glorp Andy at Fry and the Andy. What?
Where, on Instagram?
On Instagram, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, he was just making the statement of
Yeah,
for I am the
For I
Andy.
am the
Andy.
Andy. Yeah, yeah.
Glorp
It's
yourself.
written in the skies. I'm just saying.
You can find me everywhere.
It's true. I am Gary. You can find me on Twitter, not Twitch. Twitter at Film Circuit and Instagram. Yeah, that's the one.
Why are you
at Northward
struggling
Films?
so bad
Because
today?
my
Struggling
thoughts are
today.
like five
It's
thoughts
literally
ahead.
on the page.
That one's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just read it.
So, okay.
What's our conspiracy
There was
today, Gary?
actually a I can't remember who it was. There was a preacher who all of his sermons were preached like with the paper in front of his face. That's just how he like spoke.
Oh,
that
I'm
was his
sure.
public speaking.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just right, like, just yeah. Anyway, okay. So, in terms of how we use our calendar, we're most familiar with BC and AD. The that's basically how we tell like before Christ,
Yes.
after Christ, and
Isn't it BCE now?
BCE, before Common Era?
Yes.
Yes, and CE for Common Era.
Yeah.
So that event was the birth of Jesus that reset the calendar. There's one more event that is yet to happen that will also reset the calendar in the event that it does happen.
Everyone dies.
Yes.
A little bit of both.
Whoa, that went dark.
I mean, to be
Dark as
fair,
shit. Wait. If everyone
Well, I mean-
dies, who's using the calendar?
exactly. Our
Exactly.
calendar's gone.
the aliens. No, you're right. First Contact will reset the calendar.
Would it be AA?
I don't know.
After
Actually,
aliens?
I think that's still up for
I would
debate.
say AC after contact.
Okay, after Contact.
I would say.
PC
I
would
feel
be
like people would
pre-contact.
think you were talking
Pre-contact.
about your
Or,
air
I mean, you could still say
conditioning.
BC because it would be before contact.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about today.
The calendar and after
Wait,
contact.
calendars
the
or
potential,
aliens?
The potential event of first contact.
Okay.
With
Okay.
aliens. What would we do? How do we communicate
First
with them?
contact in terms of
What is the contingency plan?
Guns.
talking or them
Shoot them.
arriving?
That's not a terrible plan.
That's most likely the
Depending
realistic
on-
one, actually.
That's very likely the realistic one, yeah.
Are we talking them arriving or them communicating?
Communicating.
Okay.
I would
Now-
say, yeah, I
and
would
now
say communicating.
That's my next line here is we first need to rescue the idea of first contact. We're not talking about people or individuals who claim contact with extraterrestrials, but we're talking about a large-scale public first contact,
Okay.
like V.
like V.
Like they're suddenly floating
Yes.
over a city.
Many movies have portrayed this in an event that basically stops humanity on a global scale. Like everything just stops, as it would if
I
extraterrestrials
mean, realistically,
contact us,
if you look on
yes.
the news and like there are
Yes.
spaceships floating over
Yes.
Amsterdam,
Right.
you're gonna be like, probably not gonna go into work today.
not going into work. Everyone's
can't
gonna wait and see
guarantee
what
it's gonna
happens.
be there.
The world,
just in
yes,
case.
Yes, the world would stop.
Yeah, I could see that.
As this has been portrayed in many movies, such as War of the Worlds, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Arrival, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Independence Day, Mars Attacks, District 9, Signs, and Star Trek First Contact. Then there was that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie back in the 90s, Fist Contact. Do you guys remember that? It's a movie I'm now going to make, and I'm going to get Jean-Claude Van Damme to star in
to
it.
do it. Yeah, I
Yes.
like it. But use only technology from the 90s
Yes.
to make it look like a
I'm
90s
I'm gonna
movie.
film it on old film
Yeah,
stock.
yeah, I like it.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome.
The poster's going to be super cheesy.
I like it.
I actually just watched the trailer for The Phantom from like 1996.
Oh, yeah. With
the trailer is
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Yeah.
The trailer is awful.
Yeah, it was really
It
bad.
is.
The movie's not much better.
It's just terrible.
Honestly.
I was like,
It gives you a good preview then.
Yeah,
I was
it's
watching
true,
the trailer because I remember as a kid, I was like, this movie's going to be awesome. I want to see this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I saw the trailer last night. I was like, I got to watch this trailer again. And I couldn't believe that this thing made it to theaters.
Yeah,
like
well,
it was so
It was
bad.
the 90s.
It was the 90s.
They had low standards.
Exactly.
They-
It was the 90s.
Their standards
Yeah,
were,
it was
can you
the
get it
90s.
on the screen? Cool.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
listen, not everybody's Spielberg, so just make the movie.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fine.
So there are several questions we need to answer in order to prepare for first contact. There are questions, contingency plans that need to come into place. And my challenge here is for us to come up with, and you, precious viewers, to come up with precious viewers, to come up with a contingency plan as well. You can answer these questions in the comment section below and let us know what your plan would be. And these are the following questions.
Okay.
1, where would it take place? One place? Multiple places? Ideally,
I feel like that's not our
ideally,
choice.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not.
Realistically,
Maybe it is.
yeah.
But if they've been observing us, they would probably know what the best place would be.
Well, so this would all predicate
Well,
Yes.
on them, one, us being able to understand them, and them being able to understand us. And then coming to an agreement
Yes.
of so what happened? Did they first send like an ambassadors, like
Right.
where would you like our leader to meet your leader, kind
Right.
of thing?
Yep.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
So where do you
As
where,
well as
where do you think?
which
Would it-
leader?
Well,
Because
that's
it.
the problem.
It depends.
Yeah.
That's
what,
another question
What,
we're
what
gonna
country
address.
are we
Yep.
making this movie? Because if we're talking like DC Marvel,
Right.
anything arrives in the States.
That is true.
Always arrives in the States.
But if
Yep.
we're done-
Or if it
in-
doesn't, we send the superheroes over to
get it, yeah.
to take care of
now,
it.
if it's like Arrival, which was a pretty good movie, they actually choose very neutral.
That is
middle of
true,
nowhere,
yes.
Very middle of nowhere locations.
And then it was a joint group
Yes.
from various countries that went and actually made the first contact with them.
Right. So we kind of go out and meet them, which is actually very smart. I mean, if they're going to show up here, they know
The
that
least
there's
we
going to
can
be
do is drive
Right.
20 minutes.
Right.
It's like,
Can you
okay, we'll meet
imagine?
you halfway. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
cool.
Is that fair?
Or it would be like Independence Day minus the violence.
Sure.
And they would just arrive at every major city
Also true, yeah.
because they probably would also understand as fairly primitive creatures that there's like bragging rights to, well, they came here.
Sure.
They came to the U.S. They came to China.
You would hope that maybe with the arrival of some extraterrestrials that maybe mankind as a whole could put aside all the petty squabbling to kind of like come together for that moment. You would hope. It
We
won't
would hope.
happen, but you would hope. Like that's
There's a lot
maybe.
of things I hope that I thought was
Yeah.
common sense and stuff like that.
But like, I mean, that would be the idea of like
Humanities.
Star Trek, which is like mankind has finally
Yes.
come together once we've
Yeah, yeah.
developed warp drive, blah 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 blah
Although
blah.
according to First Contact, mankind didn't really come together. We just developed warp drive.
That is
We're like,
true.
Now
That
we
was
can go.
all a lie.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's you rewrite
Yeah.
that in the history book.
Exactly.
But you would hope that maybe we could do like a joint country thing, like all the
Yeah.
world leaders came together.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're going off of that, maybe they'd go to the UN.
I
'cause it's
feel like
sort
it would
of
not
the
be a world
central
leaders
hub.
thing. I feel like it would be a position. Like think instead of like Department of Defense, it'd be Department of First Contact or something like that. And
Right.
like every country had it that way.
Well, if we had that,
because
yeah.
let's be honest,
We should have that.
regardless of which country they go to, all the world leaders are not going to go to someone else's country and leave their country. Like they would send someone,
Sure.
a proxy essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
well, yeah.
representative.
A
of some kind,
representative
yeah.
or something like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like that would be the most realistic
Okay.
of the who would be sent.
Right.
Because at the same time, while yes, you want to talk to them, that doesn't stop your country from needing to be ran.
Well, no, but that's why, especially in America, we have like vice president, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
We have the
Right.
line.
Exactly.
that goes
So you would
down.
have someone to do that.
We have a delegation. So
Because you also can't prove it would be real, and you wouldn't want to go, well, let's send our president to this thing that we think could be aliens.
Right.
Plus, by
And
the
then they
way,
blow
they
it up.
could kill all
Yeah,
the world
yes.
leaders while they're there.
Mars attacks.
yeah, Mars attacks. Yeah, where everything was going fine until the dove flew over, and they were like, "Oh no, it's the sign of war." That's actually all I really remember from
That's
that movie.
true, yeah. The only thing I really remember is Jack Nicholson going, I want the American people to remember they have 2 out of 3 branches of the government, and that ain't half bad. That's all I remember from that movie.
So, but the question is, where do you think it would take place? Do you think they would choose a spot?
I think
that
they
we,
would choose it, yeah.
we wouldn't even predict.
I think
Like,
it would
wouldn't be a major city.
I think it would be them choosing a spot.
Yeah, I do
Because I
too.
think also a lot of the time, I don't feel like they would research us before they came down.
You don't think so?
Not at all. Because let's be honest, how many times have humans gone to new territory and actually researched what they were doing?
You're just
instead of
projecting
just-
humanity
Right, I
onto
was
them
gonna
at
say,
this
yeah.
point.
Exactly.
Is
Is what I'm
is
doing.
that just a
Yeah.
human
That's
trait?
a human thing. We
That's
don't
what
know,
we
yeah.
think is a human thing. Because we only know humanity.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So how can you assume that aliens would be another
I'm
way?
not saying I assume that, but I'm saying you would think maybe they would do it. You're going they wouldn't because humanity wouldn't do it.
I'm saying it's a huge possibility that they wouldn't because humanity doesn't. And I've noticed people here are very different from people across the world, very different cultures and stuff like that, very different environments, yet still there are things that humanity does do together. We create languages, we create communities, but different communities have completely different customs and things that they do. And I feel like aliens would be similar in that regard of they probably do have core things that they kind of cycle around. And I feel like it's exploring the unknown. Like I feel like they would show up and then experience it, not just observe. Because of the fact that like a lot of the time we do go somewhere, we do tests and stuff like that. And yeah, I am using humanity as a basis because what other basis do you have? You have the ideas of what Hollywood and different movies and books have given you of different aliens.
Right.
And that is based off of humanity creating those
But
ideas
there are,
of what the aliens are going to do.
But there are plenty of scenarios and movies and stories where they have researched us.
Yeah.
There was one story.
I mean,
trying to
but I'm
remember-
not saying that they're not going to. I'm
Right.
saying it's a huge possibility that they wouldn't.
in
just
just-
as it's a
like-
possibility
it's
that they would.
50-50.
Right. For example, in Star Trek First Contact, the Vulcans made First Contact. It was their decision. And they made First Contact not just because we developed warp drive, but they actually had been observing humankind for a long time. For probably, I think it was something like over 100 years. They'd been observing mankind, our radio transmissions, and they actually sent Vulcans down to Earth in disguise. And so they
Elves.
had been basically elves,
Pointy
space
ears.
elves.
Yeah.
So that's one scenario. Or they're just observing our transmissions. And so all they're getting is like our pop culture.
Yeah,
Like,
these people are awful.
oh, yeah.
Ugh, we're not going there. That's why I believe
call this
Earth is
entertainment?
like the ghetto
Right.
of the galaxy.
You went
and
where?
aliens don't unlock
Roll
their-
your windows up.
Yeah, they roll
Lock
them
your
up and
doors.
keep going. Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah, it's like, so we're passing the Sol system. Yeah, roll the windows.
Yep. Why don't we just go around
cloak-
it?
yeah,
I mean,
just
but
go
we're gonna have
around.
to stop and get gas then. I'd rather stop and get gas, honestly, than cut through.
They got So, where are we? So, how do we discern between then friendly and potentially hostile contact? A quiet invasion or
They blow stuff up.
a greeting party?
It's hostile.
Okay, but like in the movie Signs, it was hostile, but it wasn't overtly
Widespread
It was more like a
hostility.
slow,
Yeah,
quiet invasion
Sure.
that we didn't even realize was happening.
Right.
I feel
That'd be the best way to
How
do
would
it.
we,
honestly.
on our side,
My-
with very little information, determine what's happening?
I would equate it to the Cold War.
Okay.
Of both parties have the potential to attack the other one. They're preparing in case the other one does attack, but they're hoping they don't have to. That's how I would expect it, because we would not go, oh, there's a thing from space. Let's assume they're friendly.
Oh no! As humans, we would immediately like
Assume the
Exactly,
worst.
we
but-
have to assume the worst.
Exactly,
We always
but
would.
that's
Well, you
why I
actually
feel
You have to.
You have
Yeah,
to.
you have to.
Yeah.
you have to, but at the same time, you do also have to try and hope to create peaceful.
Of course, yeah.
And that's why I would equate it to Cold War, because it is very much a very fine line of potential confusion that
right, and you
could
don't know what the
ignite
trigger's gonna
something.
be. Yeah.
You don't
The
know
dove.
anything. You don't know their language. You're hoping
Right.
I mean, it could be one of those situations where like you think this means peace, but in another country it's like F you.
This means war.
And so that's how
They're
I
doing
would
the
say
signs
that
of
one would go.
war. Open fire.
Wait. We're a highly advanced civilization. Maybe their signs mean something
No,
different. than
no,
ours.
open fire.
No. It means war.
We're not taking that chance.
Yeah, no, all these are valid questions, and yeah, we're gonna get through that. But generally, like, what would be the signs from our end? How could we determine?
How would you determine?
How would we determine what their motives
is
are?
it an overt they've landed, or we're not aware of it?
There are two scenarios. So one is they're just in our cities or in our midst, and
Right, they
actually
show
made
up.
contact.
Yeah.
They're just kind of hovering there.
Okay.
That's been portrayed in many different stories.
Sure,
many different
yeah.
scenarios. The other is they make first contact. They talk to us.
Right.
And then they appear to be friendly at first. So, but on our
Much
end,
like
do we
V.
just trust them? Yeah, much like V.
Much like-
yeah. Do we just trust them, or do we just like? How do we determine their psychology and their
Well,
motives,
I mean,
you know?
that would. I mean, without actually being in the situation, that's tough to
It is,
determine
yeah.
because like if they show up and they're like, "We've brought you the cure to all of your diseases, and
Yes.
now you can have this warp technology we've come up with, and
Yes.
check it out, a ray gun, cool, right? There you go.
There you go.
Um,
yeah, we have those.
Yeah, we only have fire.
Black Knight.
Yeah. I mean, you could see if they showed up and they were just like, "Here's gifts. Here
Yep.
you go. Join the galaxy. Like we got a whole account of
Here's your
aliens."
badge. Here's your sash.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
like that, I would say would be you could
You can pretty well trust.
you
them.
could
I would
you
not
could
at all.
trust it sort of,
sort of. Yeah.
but I would always have that lingering idea.
little
of-
hesitation.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
always
'cause-
hesitation.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be one of those ones as well where it's first off, how do they know it would? How do you know
Right.
that it would cure everything?
Right.
Like for all you know, it's a Trojan horse that's gonna
Well,
kill your
there
entire
was-
Well, I was going to say, if you look back on history, this has happened several times. where
Exactly.
Explorers show up, hey, new land, hey,
Yes,
you know,
here's
indigenous
gifts.
people, here's gifts, and
here's a
they're
new
all
disease.
dead, and we
Yes.
want your,
There
your
was-
planet.
Exactly,
let's say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I would.
Right.
You'd have to be leery of that.
Yeah, because there was actually a really brilliant episode, 2-part episode of Stargate SG-1, where this alien race actually visits planets and they cure their diseases. They lengthen their lifespan. Everything seems
That
to be
way,
going-
they can enslave them.
Actually, no. So
No.
that's although
I
that's
mean,
a part
yes,
of
that's
the
what I
story.
would've
Yeah. So what,
No,
but what
they'll never
happens?
die.
What
Slaves
happens
for
is
life.
their diseases are cured. They're living longer.
Okay.
But they're sterile.
I see. Okay,
Now they can't procreate.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And so they
you-
just end
you-
up dying off.
You want to accept these gifts and you would want to be like, oh,
Right.
cool.
But
But
what
you
are
would
the side
honestly,
effects?
you would honestly have to test them
Right.
first. Hopefully, we would be able to test them. We would have the technology or
How would
something
you
like that.
even know? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would never just be, like, honestly, if someone just randomly showed up and was like, here's a bunch of gifts. Now, I'm a naturally distrusting person
Yes.
that got trained very hard to,
Yes.
to
Oh, yes.
distrust more in the army.
Yeah.
So I would naturally be like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want from
When
me?
is the other foot
Right.
going to drop or the other shoe
what do
gonna
I
drop?
have to give in return?
Exactly.
Right.
I would always
Yeah.
be leery of that.
I think a lot of people are very cautious with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is why people don't like asking for help. Or
It's the classic.
receiving
It's too good to be
things.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of thing.
I got to
Yeah.
question.
People
that.
don't just give you things.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Yeah. Okay, so in determining whether or not their motives are nefarious,
Now, if
Or-
we discover that they have secretly been amongst us for a long time,
Yes.
let's say we
That's
figured that out,
immediate
I would immediately
distrust.
distrust them.
yes,
Yeah. Like, why did you have to hide?
right.
You know,
What were
that
you
sort of
hiding?
thing.
Why
what
were you hiding for so long?
What were you doing on this planet before you decided to come out and say, hey, by the way, we're aliens?
Yes, which was actually the plot to another show called The Event.
Like, it always comes back to sci-fi shows.
Well, because I mean, ideas.
I mean, realistically, there's
Yeah.
no other way to do
I mean,
it.
Right,
let's
yeah.
be
How do you
honest.
reference these ideas?
Us just
Yeah.
discussing
Right.
this is pretty much the same as those writers on those shows.
No, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
discussing what they were
Yeah,
going to do.
what about this theory? What if this happened? What if this happened? Yeah, all of it's a big what if. So it's kind of the story of a show called The Event, which only lasted one season, unfortunately.
Oh, I
It was
do
actually
remember that
pretty
show.
good.
Yeah.
And it turns out the aliens had been here for like 60 years.
Yeah.
Because they crash landed here, they fit in, and nobody knew they were here. And then all this stuff started.
Funny
to unfurl.
thing with
Yeah.
that of the distrusting and stuff like that, if they had been a part of our community and stuff like that without us knowing,
Right.
that would honestly be a situation where I would say they did research us and they knew
Oh, yeah. Sure.
humanity's
Oh, yeah.
Flaws,
what
easiest
is-
way to get her
what's
to
the
a-
word? Prejudice?
Yep.
Like essentially they were like, you know what? We know for a fact that they're not going to accept us because they didn't even accept people that were pretty much the exact same of them. They're never going to accept us, but we need a new place to live.
Right. Can you imagine the training for like the quiet
To blend
invasion?
into humanity.
It's like, okay, somebody asks you, what is your opinion?
Shout really loud at them.
Shout really
and
loud
tell
at them,
them they're
yeah.
stupid.
I feel like they would ask them, they'd be like, how would you act in this situation? All right, so you're going to go to Kansas. What would you do?
Yeah. Okay. So,
All right, so you're going to go to Spain. Yeah, you like cheering with them. Yeah,
you're going to pretend to be gluten-free. Now, I know it's a sacrifice.
Because gluten tastes amazing.
Yeah, but just bear with us. I know you love Guinness. I'm talking to you, Gary. I mean, what? Yeah, by the way, your name is Gary.
Everyone here is
Wait
named
a
Gary.
second.
No, like the whole alien covert squad is named Gary.
All right, what's your name? Gary!
That'd be hilarious.
And what are you going to be? Gluten-free!
Awesome. Get out there.
All right, troops, get on.
Let's go trick some humans.
Yep. We found this name that in Old English means spear. That's pretty amazing, right? What's the name? It's Gary.
That doesn't sound cool at all. Can't we call ourselves Spear instead?
Just spear works.
But we'll put
Nope.
like an I
Nope.
and an E instead of an E and an A.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next question.
Whatever.
Who, you were kind of touched on this, who would represent us? A president, or should we, as a planet, elect representatives, or one representative for this particular occasion? Should there be a board of representatives, or one person, so that things don't get too complicated or muddy?
It would be a board.
You think it'd be a board?
would
No
probably be a
country
board,
would go, yeah, I'm okay
Yeah.
with you
Right.
having your
But what if
person
no,
to
but what if-
represent mine.
What if they all voted on one neutral
They would
person?
never vote on a
I'm just
neutral
saying,
person.
it's a possibility.
Like the UN
We've
came
seen-
together and was
yes.
like, we're sending Gary.
The problem is...
Gary's already one of them. Perfect.
The problem with that would be a simple...
Yeah.
People can decide on a certain person.
Sure.
But as we've seen from wars, different groups will decide on a different person.
Yes, I
And
mean,
that will,
that's-
Right.
I think
Well,
it would be a
yes,
very similar
but-
to a universal UN situation,
Okay.
except there would be the common ground of you are simply representing your country. You're not making decisions. I think that
Right.
would be the biggest thing. Would be
Yeah.
not a group of people
You're there-
to
you're
simply
just there to
go-
communicate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are your mediator.
Yeah, mediator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like that would be the
Right.
situation because then no politics are involved. They are simply
Right.
there to
Right.
gather information and pass it on, and then people can do with what they want with that information.
Okay. So do you agree that it would be kind of a board of representatives?
That would mostly, yeah,
Okay.
I would,
Or like
I
a
could not
council?
agree. Yeah, I couldn't see various nations agreeing for one person to do it. Yeah,
Right.
I can't imagine anyone would do that.
Right.
Or any country. Possibly if we were like a universal government at that point or a planetary government, then they could possibly come up with. Sorry, it's my phone.
guess-
They could come
yeah.
up with a a representative. But yes, as it stands now, if it happened tomorrow, there's no way
Yeah.
the world as a whole would agree
Right.
for
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
person.
We already
Or even a
disagree
group
on
of
enough
people,
stuff.
honestly.
Right.
It would most likely be like, they would, each country would send a representative, and then that group would
Right.
then make
Discuss how they
contact.
would
Yeah,
make
exactly.
contact.
I mean, when it comes down to it, I more expect the world to go at war to decide who gets to choose their one person.
Yeah.
More than I would expect people to come together
See,
for a
and
common goal. Because
I think there would be war motives, but I don't know that we would necessarily go to war with aliens literally parked in our backyard, because we would need our defenses and our
That is true.
offensive weapons against them if they did decide to attack us.
Yeah.
So going to war with
and
each
that's
other.
why I feel like
would be the-
people would
yes.
go, okay, let's make an
Yes.
agreement of we'll send someone from everyone's got their own representative,
Right.
and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
and
I-
then we
I-
can
yeah.
fight it out.
I think the
'Cause they'll fight eventually.
Right. Well,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
humanity.
who knows? I mean, if we get comfortable enough with the aliens, they're like old news. We're like, we're back to war with each other, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but at that point, you gotta. It also depend. I mean, that scenario would depend on what the aliens came here for.
That's one of my questions.
Okay, well, never
Yeah.
mind. I'll wait till we get there.
So let's see here. Next question. That's one of the questions. Next question is, how would the calendar change? Would we start with year one? Would we alter our calendar to include theirs so we can collaborate? Would we?
Well, that implies they have a
communicate with them?
calendar.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe we would discuss it with them.
Because
like
time
now that
and
we're working
dates
with
and
them,
months are all very
Right.
much a human.
it is.
Yeah, because it's all based
construct.
around
It's all based
Right.
off of whenever
go
we
around
start.
the
Yeah,
sun,
exactly. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to space not having a singular sun.
Right. Maybe they've been in space long enough. They have a totally different.
That's what I'm saying. They might have
time.
a different concept of time altogether.
And do you think we would adopt that? Would we alter it and adopt it so that we can work with them?
I don't think we would, honestly, just because I think that's more of because it's, unless we were suddenly like vacated the Earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think because if we're still on Earth, we would maintain our own calendar. And
I feel like it would be similar to time zones, where we still have our calendar and our time, but we are aware, if we were, let's say, communicating with someone across the universe, we're going off the galactic calendar and stuff like. I feel like it would be more.
What time is it on your planet? It's 2 years ahead.
Oh, well, it's 6 a.m. here, so I'm going to bed.
Exactly.
No, that's a good idea, actually. So we basically maintain our new calendar, which still follows very much the same principles, but because our calendar has reset to like year 1, 2, 3, but we understand theirs.
Yes.
So if we need to communicate with them, we can.
Because I kind of consider it the same as like the Chinese calendar. They have a calendar. We've got a calendar. Mm-hmm. We are aware of both.
Yes.
But each place uses their own.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be the situation.
Sure. The next question is, how would we communicate with them? This is probably the single most difficult question to answer. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what their version of communication is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the roadblocks are, do they even communicate verbally?
Right.
Do they even communicate with writing? There was a Rowan Atkinson skit where he pretended to be the doctor, Doctor Who. And they were on this planet. He said, the planet died out, and their main method of communication was flatulence. It was a series of gases and noises. And so, it was a very funny skit. But that begs the question, like, what if?
Yeah.
What if their main form of communication is a series of gases that, like, have different scents and
so, I was going to say that. I mean, you really can't. I couldn't even guess that.
That one I feel would be the world actually would come together. That would be a situation where I feel
we need to figure out how to.
You would get like each country would kind of be like, okay, your best linguistics.
Well, I mean, realistically, wasn't that what the movie Arrival was about?
Yes.
Was they get like their best linguists to try to figure out how to communicate with these aliens.
Like you have people that know different languages, because it is one of those ones where regardless of if they're human or not, you can make educated guesses off of the way that humanity has progressed as a whole, because of the fact that humanity 1,000 years ago is completely different from humanity now, but we do share some of the same stuff.
Right.
Yep.
And I feel like you would get body language professionals, language professionals, essentially anyone in all those with the different languages to get the equivalent of peace being FU here.
Right. Yeah. Trying to figure it out based off of what they're doing.
Yeah. I feel like that would be the only thing that humanity would get together for, because it's not something that controls who gets a certain amount of power. It's simply the understanding of something unknown, and no one can benefit if no one understands.
True. Yeah. Some of the major roadblocks with that are biology. So, maybe they communicate with words, maybe it's gases, maybe it's physical signs. But another roadblock would be, how do they see?
Right.
Do they see? Like, do they use other senses to communicate, or even just understand their surroundings?
Yeah.
That's kind of a major roadblock.
Like, what senses do they have?
Right. What senses do they have? Which senses do they prioritize? Do they have eyes, but they can only see in ultraviolet? Do they have eyes, but they can only see, like, in certain spectrums?
Yeah.
And so that's another roadblock as well. Like, you may be flashing up signs and like writing
and
things
it means
on boards.
Nothing to them.
They can't even see it. They're I don't even understand what you're doing. Like, you keep holding up this blank thing.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, let's just leave.
Let's just leave. They keep scribbling on this pad. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what they're doing. Man, humans are stupid.
Humans are stupid. Or maybe they are trying to speak to us audibly, but it's at a frequency we can't hear.
True.
Yeah.
And so we devise like machines. And there are all kinds of problems that come with just that one step of communication and understanding. And then which also leads into another problem, is what if they came here for resources? They don't want to be rude. Like, they are peaceful, but they don't. How do they communicate to us that they need these resources without just going out and taking it?
Right. Yeah.
Are we going to figure it out quickly enough to actually help them?
Or blow them up.
Or blow them up. Yeah.
What if they speak psychically, but our brains are not equipped to receive said message and they pop?
Wasn't that in a movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sounds like it's
I'm pretty sure everything is in the movie.
At this point, yeah. But I was like, we're just trying to communicate. I don't know why their heads keep exploding. This is weird.
Let's stop trying to communicate. Yeah.
No, that can't be it.
What's their main
Like,
form of?
we gotta whisper.
What's
We're too loud. That's gotta be
Think
it.
softly.
What's their main form of communication? It's this thing called Twitter.
That's what it would be.
That's what it would be.
They
yeah.
start tweeting.
And Instagramming. Like,
Yeah,
take a
yeah.
selfie. Like,
Hashtag coming in peace.
what do you think that is? Is that a butt?
Am I
don't know.
aroused? What
am I looking at? I think it's
Alien
a selfie.
fitness star.
Yeah, alien fitness star. Look at my 4 butts.
That is so photoshopped.
Real.
Yeah, put a filter
I don't know. I
on
threw
that.
the phone.
Okay. So, final thoughts on how would we communicate? What would be the roadblocks? What are some other roadblocks?
I mean, it's all roadblocks.
Yeah.
I mean, the communicate is like probably the biggest roadblock we would run into.
right.
I would assume, unless they show up and they immediately speak.
Right.
They've been watching us.
They've been
enough.
watching us long enough to know our own
yeah.
form of communication.
Right.
Like they're holding up
Yeah.
signs like we don't communicate with voice.
Yeah, please tweet us
Yeah, but-
at extraterrestrials.
That's probably already taken.
2 S's.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna
And a
say,
Z.
yeah.
And a Z. And a 0
Extras.
underscore 01. Yeah.
69.
420 blaze it.
Yeah, no, there are all
Yeah,
roadblocks.
that
which
would be the
Which
biggest
is why I
roadblock.
think first contact could take a very long time.
Oh yeah.
You know, they landed here a year ago. We're
We've
still
just figuring it out.
Just figured out how to say
them.
hi.
I
You
see.
which is very much Arrival. That movie.
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, we just figured out how to say hi.
I feel like that would not actually be the biggest roadblock
Okay, what do you
because
think would
I
be?
feel like an alien that would be coming to a location here, considering how far out we can currently see in the universe, I feel like an advanced civilization coming here would
do the
have
prep.
would have experience with new
Sure, maybe
ways
they've
of
done this
communication
12 other times, or a
and
dozen
we've
other
got
times, yeah.
enough people from different cultures and different ways of communicating and stuff like that I feel like people are smart enough to decipher these things.
Right.
I feel like communication wouldn't actually be it. I think the biggest roadblock in all of this is the trust. Because
sure.
people, I mean, most countries would probably look at it as, okay, well, if I showed up somewhere, I'd be trying to take over. So
Right.
that's probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the biggest roadblock, not so much the actual communication.
Okay. So you think their first landing place would be Canada?
I honestly, I
They're very
don't
nice
know about
there.
the
Yeah.
landing
Yeah.
situation because it is such a big planet. And I mean,
Yeah.
all you need is for them to actually land somewhere in the Brazilian rainforest with that one tribe that actually has not had any communication with any of the current day
Yeah.
and attacks it with like spears and stuff. And now these aliens are thinking, all these people have spears and they don't like us and they
Yeah.
talk like that. Like,
Yeah.
the landing is always such a weird one.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be regardless of where they landed, enough people would have noticed they were coming here and meet them there.
Yeah.
That would be
I
my
think
guess.
honestly, I think they would probably land somewhere in the middle of the ocean, middle of nowhere. If they can
They
travel the
actually
universe,
land on the moon. They're like, meet us at the moon?
meet us at the moon
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. It's like an entrance fee, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if you
Elon
can
Musk
make it
is
here,
just like, yes.
yes,
It's my
I'm going home.
SpaceX,
I mean,
time to shine.
Cybertruck, go.
He would take a Cybertruck.
He would
to the
take a
moon.
would.
Cybertruck as a
Oh,
gift.
yeah, as a gift.
Nah.
They actually come back and they've got that car that he sent into space. They're
like,
like, hey, we found this.
We found this. He's
I
like,
keep launching
oh,
the trash into space.
yeah. You think, what is
Stop leaving this on my lawn.
Yeah, yeah. Pick up your toys, Elon. So I think we talked a little bit about like resources. You wanted to mention something about resources, like what would they need from us? I guess is really one
I
of the
don't
bigger
remember mentioning
questions.
that now.
Or would they need stuff?
Would
from
they need
us?
stuff? Would they need anything? Yeah. So would they need water? Would they need gold, as in Cowboys?
Go in there and
Flesh.
yeah.
Flesh.
Jesus.
Man.
We
Go
need to
run-
power
go
our
run a cow.
We need to
let's be
power our
honest.
spaceship. How?
Yeah.
Human flesh? Why does
mean,
your spaceship run off
we
of
got
human
carbon
flesh?
on it.
Well, we ran into the ones we had.
We got a lot of carbon.
It's true.
Because, I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, the number of planets out there that do not have water, I'm going to assume there's a lot of races that don't need water.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it,
there are a lot of planets that have liquid methane.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe they drink liquid methane.
and that's why I say like stuff like that is because for all they know, they go, "Guy's got carbon.
Yeah.
I need that. That's how I fuel my ship."
Quick, into the ship.
Yeah. Wait, you guys don't have carbon out there? No.
Nah.
No,
Well,
you think it'd be everywhere.
That was just
But it's
weird.
not.
But the point being,
But
we could not guarantee that they would
Yeah.
need the same resources that we need.
No.
Right.
And for all we know, that would be an incredible
Right.
benefit of going, oh, you need that, like, oh, you need carbon dioxide gas. We've got tons of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Please take it from our
like
planet.
it's one of those mutual benefit of, well,
Right.
it turns out what you don't need is what we need
Yes.
kind of situations.
Yeah.
And that could be a very beneficial, or they do need what we need and they come and steal
There
from
was-
us. And then,
An episode of Stargate SG-1 where they...
yes, there was.
They end up on a planet where they think they're helping like a very peaceful race fight a war, and they say like, well, you know, you can help us, we can help you. What do you need from us? And what they need from Earth is heavy water. And they're like, yeah, we can make heavy water. Like, you just great, awesome. Take as much as you want. We need your help. Turns out,
Glass of water, 25-pound weight in there.
yeah,
Psh, heavy water.
heavy
There you
water.
go.
So it turns out that that this like peaceful race that was fighting this like horrible war, they were actually like the racists. And they
Right,
so
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
why are you fighting them? They're different. I'm like, wait, what?
And then we were like, I get that.
So
Man, they would do it too.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those situations where they want something from us. It's like mutual
Yeah.
help, but they turn out to be space Nazis.
Nazis in space.
Did you just make up that theme song?
No, I've heard that somewhere, and I don't know where.
I believe it was an episode of.
Isn't
Yeah,
I mean,
probably an
essentially that's
episode of
the
something.
Empire in Star Wars. So
Yeah,
Basically. Well, no,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd say they're Nazis. They're like,
they're pretty racist.
they're an oppressive regime. I guess, yeah, they're all
Yeah,
basically humans.
yeah, they were actually they were pretty
or what do they
racist.
call them in Star Wars? Not humans.
Terrans.
No.
That's what most
That's what
sci-fi
most-
stuff
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Star Trek does in alternate universes. What do they call them? Not
Pretty
sapiens?
sure-
Sapiens? No,
I'm pretty sure they call them
just humans.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Anyway, yeah, I guess the Empire is pretty much all.
Yeah, they're all just
human.
Yeah, you're right, pretty racist.
Yeah,
They're
that's
Nazis in
very
space.
racist.
Yeah.
They're Nazis in space. All right,
Laser
so
swords.
our final question, but not the end of the discussion, is how would we coexist? Where do we go from here? Will first contact be the most drawn out, awkward meeting where no one knows what anyone is saying? Or would we come to an understanding? And what would our future look like?
Actually, that also brings up a really good point of an alien's perception of time.
Sure. Maybe it is
For all
different,
we
yeah.
know, like a
Yeah.
year to us is like 3 minutes to them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it also
And like we're
yeah.
like, okay, we're sitting there. Why aren't they texting back?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Right. I think they address that in the Orville with what is Isaac? With Isaac,
I feel
said-
like we did this
Yeah.
topic just so we could go. There's an episode.
Yeah, there's an episode.
There's an episode of
There's an
that
episode.
in,
There's a
uh,
movie. Yeah.
The best part is
Uh,
all the episodes that I hear are the spoofs of these episodes from like
Yes.
South
Oh,
Park
sure.
or Futurama
Oh, yeah.
or The Orville. Or,
Yes. Yeah. So where Isaac basically says like I do not experience time the same way you do.
Mm-hmm.
I can calculate 10 billion something whatever in the time that it takes you to like
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So that's his like concept of time. It's like I don't experience it the same way you do.
Yeah.
Like it's when he goes down to the planet where time moves differently. And they say like you'll be down there for so many hundreds of years, and he says I don't experience time the same way you do.
Yeah.
It won't matter to me. So maybe it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
Like, they could be here for a year trying to communicate, but to them it's a few minutes.
Exactly.
Like they just don't experience it. Yeah. Because I mean a lot of it does come down to brain chemistry and how your brain perceives time. Because if you lose memory, you've lost time. And so the same amount of time hasn't passed for you.
Yeah.
It's like when you go under for surgery, when you sleep.
It's the whole time is
Yeah.
relative kind of thing.
It is, yeah, absolutely. So how would we? Yeah, I guess how would we communicate and coexist with a race that experiences time differently?
I just say it.
Yeah.
I don't think we would ever coexist.
We'll be back in 5. 5 what?
Exactly.
Fine.
You don't think we'd coexist?
No.
They'd realize it's a waste of time. And
Well,
bail?
because of the fact that
We'd blow them up.
humanity has trouble coexisting with ourselves.
That's true.
Like, and we have very, very minor differences and go to war over that. Let
It's like when
alone
people
an
say like
alien.
I don't like people. You're a people.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Nuh-uh.
a person. I don't like kids. You were a kid.
Well, I don't like kids. It doesn't matter that I was a kid
Right.
at
Sure.
some point.
Yeah.
But like, I
Yeah.
feel like that would be the constant situation of I don't think humans have it in them to
Do you
coexist
think
with an
they
alien
would even
race.
have the patience to coexist with us?
I don't think that, and like, I don't think that
This thing putting up with our shit for like
Like, we're
a
out.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm done. We're gonna wipe you all out
Yeah,
instead.
yeah. We don't want these roommates.
Yeah, we're good.
We're out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that depends on.
That's a good point. Yeah. Would they even want to?
It depends on what sci-fi universe we're going to end up in,
Right,
realistically, because in Star Trek, the idea was that these aliens showed up, we joined this galactic, blah,
And
blah,
their
blah.
level of
We
intelligence is kind of on par with us.
yes, so we made this federation.
Yes.
Now mankind has come together and we're exploring the galaxy.
Right.
Or you go off of something like Independence Day, they showed up and we all went to war.
Because well, the best example for kind of my idea of the not coexisting would be, I want to say Sector 9?
District 9.
District 9,
District
thank
9,
you.
yeah.
Where we literally just caged them up
Yes.
into
Right.
a concentration camp, essentially. And that is the most realistic
A lot
example.
of it's because of fear. We
Exactly.
don't know how to deal with them.
Exactly.
Well, and those
Yeah.
particular aliens were actually refugees. So it's like they
Yes.
came over and we're like, well, we're not going to let you in our planet. So
Yeah.
we'll keep you in this one section and we'll
Yes.
call it good.
Yeah.
And then we'll try to figure out all your technology in the 20 years or whatever
And
it
then
was
we'll
that
kill
they've
you.
been. And then we'll try to kill you. I mean,
But-
Yeah.
That's because a lot of this, I feel like a lot of these questions, there is the thought process of humans are a huge factor. If we're talking about all of this of if the aliens were to decide, then yes, I would see coexistence being possible.
Okay.
Because I feel like if an alien race is advanced enough to traverse the
Right.
universe to find other planets, they probably are either willing to coexist because they need somewhere to live,
Right.
or they're just going to wipe us out.
I was going to say, yeah. The more likely scenario is if they have the technology to get to our world, they most likely will just either wipe us out or enslave us.
It wouldn't even be
Agree
a
to
fight.
disagree.
Yeah, honestly.
It wouldn't even be a fight.
It wouldn't be a fight.
Agree to
Yeah.
disagree, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the fact of, I'm going to use the United States military as an example. We've put a lot of money into weaponry, and we have a lot of weapons that, I mean, with that kind of budget, we probably could have been able to go to space and go further places and invest in other different areas. But instead, we went into all weaponry. For all we know, all these other alien races were like, you know what? We're a peaceful race. We don't need weapons. We just created these transport vehicles. So there's no guarantee that they're
Oh, no.
even
And I'm not saying like they would show up and we'd be like, ah, crap.
but like
Our
it's,
guns have no effect on
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Oh, no, we'd put up a fight.
Yeah.
But like that's kind
Yeah.
of what I'm saying is like you assuming that if they're able to traverse is assuming that they've got the weaponry. I don't think that's really a fair assumption
You think they've
because
prioritized travel over
exactly like we
weapons
do
development.
because we have prioritized weapon development over
Space
other
travel
things
and-
and stuff like that. And I feel like it could very much be something along those lines. It's kind of like in video games where it's like you've got to choose
Well,
a
and they're-
specialization.
Yes.
You can't branch out into everything.
But that also begs the question: if they haven't equipped themselves with these, extravagant weapons, does that tell us that maybe us and them are it? There's nobody else out there because they don't need to defend themselves.
Because they don't need
against
to defend
anything.
themselves.
Or does that mean that everyone else out there
Is also peaceful.
they are peaceful? Like it,
And we're the redheaded
we are
stepchild of
exactly.
the-
We're
of
the
the known
outlier
universe.
of.
These ones keep making
conflict.
guns. What the hell?
Yeah, never
But,
ends
like-
well. Yeah,
Yeah, but look how cool their guns are.
right. I mean, there are a lot of theories. Like, I can even imagine like a first contact like campaign. Like they call up another plane. It's like, how's it going for you? It's going all right. These people are awesome. How's it going for
They're
you?
actually having a race.
Like,
it's like, can you take your?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take this one.
Yeah.
You take that one. First one to win. First one to take over the planet wins. Okay.
first one to
Okay?
take over
Yeah.
the planet. Yeah.
Or integrates.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Whatever. We're not here to judge.
As long as you can stay on the planet for more than one of their
and
years.
they don't shoot you.
Yeah. How's their space program? It's going okay. But they've
They
actually
keep
developed.
hovering around the planet for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
I don't know why that
They call
is.
this space
I don't know
travel.
what they're doing.
They're going into space.
They keep sending robots places though.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. And a record. We found the record. You dropped this.
Sent a car once.
Yeah. Pick up your toys. So yeah, I mean the whole question of what would first contact look like, it is all speculation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right now, nobody knows. They could get here and they're so similar to us, and they speak, and they're just their biology is so similar that it's not a problem, and we can communicate just fine. And they don't really need anything from us because they are that advanced. And like, let's say ideally, we just learn from them. They come here, they teach us, we join their galactic whatever, or intergalactic whatever, and that's kind of it. Or they come here and they're so different, neither side knows how to react, and it does become war. You know, I guess like even in Independence Day, like their motives for wiping us out weren't very clear. We just knew that they were doing it.
I think they said they needed our resources. I think they said that at one point in the movie. Yeah, the president has like that mind meld.
Right. I thought it was just like,
and he's like,
we're destroying it because we can or something.
No, I think he says something effective. They travel from world to world and like suck its resources dry and then move on. They're like locusts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just bad guys.
Yeah, just evil space aliens.
Just evil space aliens. Yeah.
Misunderstood.
Yeah.
No, they were evil.
I mean, I hate to say it. Let's be honest. If we ever had to leave here to find resources,
and we would
totally be the evil.
Yeah, we would be evil as hell.
Yeah.
But nobody thinks they are evil.
No.
Nobody's like, whatever.
If you just understood it from my perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all a matter of perspective.
What show is that where it's the German guy and they're like, are we the baddies?
Oh yeah,
sounds like Family Guy or something.
No, it's an English show.
I'm sure that sounds okay. That sounds.
I can't remember what it is, but I feel like it would be something like that.
Evil is all a matter of perspective.
It is.
Yeah. Those humans.
Unless you are literally killing people just to kill them,
right? Like
and then I think we can all agree you're evil.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two scenarios. One is both are very simple. Like they're very good. We come here, we go
and become Star Trek.
Become Star Trek. The other is Independence Day.
Yeah.
Without Will Smith, because
he'd probably still be fighting them.
He'd probably still.
Imagine that he becomes like the leader of the resistance.
Yes.
He's like, I did this once already. Everyone
posting it on YouTube the whole time.
I'm the only one with experience in this.
And I'd be like, you know what? I'll follow him. It's fine.
Or there's the middle ground where it is so complicated and so drawn out that it just becomes a part of our daily life, trying to figure out.
And it wouldn't even be part of everyone's daily life. It would just be that group that's trying to figure out. And everybody else would just get along with their lives. And like, the weird ship is floating over the city, whatever.
I'm so sick of seeing this on my feed.
Oh, Jesus.
Another tourist photo.
It's like a BuzzFeed article, like, we just figured this thing out. And it's like nothing. And like, nobody cares anymore.
Yeah. We made agreements with the aliens. Number 4 will shock you.
Number 4 will shock you. It's like, you guys didn't even really talk to them. This is all speculation.
We've seen their doors open once in the past year.
Like one of them waved and they're like, peace is finally on the horizon. Okay. I got to get to work.
Oh, man.
Let me know how it works out.
Here's this documentary on, It's like, I'm so sick of these documentaries.
It'll be like all those like Bigfoot hunting documentaries where they're like, and at the end they don't find Bigfoot. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's this whole thing about speculation about the extraterrestrials, and in the end we don't know anything.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to.
Everyone's just bored with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you finally do make contact. We finally figure it out, and it's like, okay, cool.
Whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So, any last thoughts on First Contact? Here's a question. Would you want to be one of the people?
Hell no.
No. You don't want to be responsible
for
that?
Exactly. I don't want to be responsible for that. I sneeze and like we go to war. No. The
greatest offense
is a sneeze. Yeah.
Not followed up by a Kleenex.
I would be very offended. Someone sneezed at me and I had no idea who they were.
Maybe that's their...
Turns out attacking me.
Achoo is the sound of war declaration.
That's their war cry. Actually, that's their test. They come out, they just sneeze, and they wait for a bless you. And
if they don't get it, war.
War.
Wipe them out.
You uncivilized
No,
swine.
I definitely would not want to be part of that first group.
No, okay.
No,
you wouldn't want to either?
Not, no.
I would want... I don't know. I'm conflicted because I have no credentials for that.
Yeah, right.
Besides,
why would they call me?
Yeah, Gary, what do you think about such and such? Well, in this one episode of Stargate.
It's okay, guys. I saw that.
Stargate. Okay. Who brought this guy in here?
It's like, if we could get James Dean Anderson in there, that'd be great.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Thank you.
Honestly, my opinion with the First Contact, I feel like if I had the choice... If someone would, for some reason was like, Dan, you're going to decide what happens with this, I would say, let them move on. We don't need more shit. Just don't bother us.
Just wait them out.
If they go, we want to live peacefully. No. You can find somewhere else.
Yeah. So what? We just ignore them, act like they're not there.
Honestly,
Don't look at them.
We have enough problems.
What's going on?
Adding
But the
advanced
aliens could
technology.
fix that.
No, they wouldn't. They would fix it for one group, and then that one group would go, wait, they shouldn't have that. And then humans would still fight over what the aliens bring.
Wiped out that other group, that's a form of peace.
Sound a lot like Tesla. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's our peace treaty.
If we have a death threat from the aliens, and you wipe out your enemies and see them driven before you, that's a form of peace.
Yeah.
It's just reminding me of Bender, where he's like, stealing's a form of creativity.
Exactly. I'm just saying, people always look at it wrong.
Yeah.
But that would be my honest opinion about it, is we got enough shit we're dealing with. At the end of the day, alien contact's not going to improve anything.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Okay, so
Anyway,
It's a very dour attitude, Dan.
It's a realistic.
fast forwarding. See, I think it would change everything. I think ultimately,
I know it would. I don't think it would change for the
ultimately,
better, though.
I think it would change. Well, that is a question, because people twist things. I think we would find people like worshiping.
Oh, yeah,
the
definitely.
extraterrestrials. We would
Instantly.
find people who do want to go to war.
Oh, yeah.
We would find
'Cause you
people
would-
who just
exactly.
want to communicate. I mean, we would
you'd
be
have
very
those militia
divided.
redneck
Yes.
guys who are like, we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
shoot the aliens. Woo!
Molotov
Exactly.
cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
But
that
see,
would
and
happen.
that's why I would say
Yeah.
we got enough problems, because that's just going to cause more problems between us going towards them, and now you've got
Right.
a whole new party.
Right.
It's
the
like going,
anti,
okay, we're playing chess with each other.
ETs.
They want to play 3-person chess. And it's like, no. I've got enough trouble with it. No,
I want to play 3D chess. Star Trek.
Okay, you just get the hell out of here.
So now imagine we fast forward 200, 300, 400 years, maybe 1,000 years.
Okay.
Where like first contact is old news.
Sure. It
Everybody's
happened.
used to it. Whatever happened. If it
We're
was
on
war.
fourth contact.
Yeah, we're on fourth contact, whatever.
Only
yeah,
four?
so
I know,
only
right?
4. That's sad. 1,000 years goes by. Yeah.
It's only 4 different alien species.
Which
Counting us, so 5.
could be very likely. So it's just a part of our history, like however things turned out.
Sure.
It's just a part of our history.
Okay.
What do you think? How do you think that would have shaped mankind going forward? Huge trajectory change or very minimal?
I mean, that all boils down to the aliens, the extraterrestrials. I mean,
true.
it depends. If it's an extraterrestrial race shows up, tries to enslave us or whatever, we would go to war. If we won,
Right.
it would be a note in history books where
Yes.
mankind as a whole came together to fight off aliens.
World War
and
ET.
then went back to fighting
each
amongst
other.
ourselves. But now we have technology we pulled off of the wreckage.
Right.
If they're here for peace, it could launch mankind into a new era of global community, enlightenment.
Yeah.
It could.
Yeah.
It could be we all went into space and then started making war with everybody else.
Yep.
Like, I mean, there's no way. I mean, I guarantee, you go back 2,000 years, nobody was like, yeah, at some point we're going to have iPhones and everybody's going to be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Our technology will be so advanced. We'll
actually
waste
have
it
to make
all.
sticks.
Yeah, we'll waste it all on social media.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way
Yeah.
to realistically guess what will happen or,
Sure. Yeah.
anything like that. I
Okay.
mean, realistic. It could go. It all
depends
depends
on the
on
first
the
contact.
extraterrestrials.
Right.
It all depends on where mankind is at that time.
Right.
Because
That's true, yeah,
let's say
that's
if
true.
we had already come together as a
Right.
global community,
Could go great.
it could go great.
Yeah.
If we've had another World War III and then everybody split up again and
Yeah.
the map looks completely different, like after World War I.
Right.
It just
Yeah.
There's no way to realistically guess that.
I would assume it would just be we would eventually go back to fighting amongst each other. But the difference would be one group would come out on top because of the advanced weaponry. And I look at that in the sense of I'm looking at history of, well, when one group of people discovered advanced weaponry over another group, they made sure that other group knew by slaughtering all their people, taking over their land, and expanding their empire. That's human nature. And I think that's the biggest thing is humanity, as shown by history, is very untrusting of each other, very prone to violence, and I honestly do not think an alien contact would change human nature.
Right. So basically,
I think it would just throw in a new variable to human nature, and then whoever can reverse engineer their technology first to create X weaponry, they are now the winner.
which is basically like it's essentially the plot, not the plot, but like the premise for the underlying culture in Ender's Game, where the aliens come here, we don't care what they want, we just start fighting them, we reverse engineer their technology, and then we go try to wipe out their home planet because why?
Just in case.
Yeah.
It's human nature. That's the problem. Is a lot of this we're looking at it as the hope, the genuine hope that humanity would come together, and humanity's been around for a long, long time. We haven't really gotten together. No. And when we do get together, it's a group of people getting together agast another group of people getting together.
Usually.
And common enemy generally.
Exactly.
Now, there are statistics that state that that the world is becoming, very slowly, is becoming a safer place. That we are actually becoming a more peaceful people. But that is also currently, right now, with our current statistics, that's what it says. But we don't know how first contact could affect us.
Peaceful or apathetic?
Because
I personally, there's a lot that's going on in the world that I would more see as not peaceful, but simply we're now blinded to it. I mean, because there's a lot of violence in the world that's still going, and I think peaceful
what I'm
is
saying
going.
is like the actual statistics state, especially in the United States, that like violent crimes are actually down, even though we hear about it all the time in the news.
That's just
the violent
news,
crimes, right? That's because of the news.
But is this
They're
also
actually going down?
I always have trouble with these statistics, though, is because it's kind of like other ones where, well, the longer we've gone, the more defined we've got our parameters of certain things. Therefore, it has scaled down. Exactly. It's kind of like the whole autism scale of.
Right.
It used to be more prevalent because they had such a weird, large parameter, and now it's gone down and stuff like that. And so because in no way do I look at the world right now and go, oh yeah, it's totally peaceful. Or we're going towards
we're not
peace.
Saying it's peaceful. Yeah.
Well,
but
I mean,
a lot of that is also like curated by the news sources.
Exactly. And it's a thing of, we've been around for how many years, and this is considered more peaceful, and we're still in so much conflict.
Marginally.
Exactly.
Marginally
and like
more peaceful.
that's such a thing of how long, as well as, well, it doesn't guarantee it's going to continue that way.
Right. And I think one of my biggest fears is that we would coexist with them, we'd adapt the technology, we'd learn from them, we'd expand into the galaxy with them, and then our human nature would kick in, and we would suddenly become the tyrants. We would become the ones invading planets, because we
would think we knew best.
Right, exactly. Like that human nature just kicks in, and things just go south. So
I think the peaceful is more of a society has created more countermeasures to prevent violence from starting.
Yep.
But when violence starts, it starts at such a much higher scale because there are those deterrents.
Yeah.
Because in the past, there wasn't a full, let's say, police force to stop people from doing this, but now there is. But when enough people rise up, Hong Kong's kind of an example right now of they were suppressing it, and we're hearing about it now because they're finally getting bigger about it.
Right.
So I don't trust human nature is, in short, my version of how I feel about first contact.
You do either.
I don't either. I don't even trust you two, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes two of us.
Sorry.
I'm very hurt by that.
Sorry.
Anyway, any final thoughts on first contact, contingency plans?
I guarantee there is an actual contingency plan.
They just haven't released it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would assume if our U.S. military doesn't, at least at somewhere.
I mean, they have a zombie apocalypse.
That's what I'm saying. Have some form of an extraterrestrial first contact plan.
Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. It's pretty much an equivalent to, we are prepared. We have a contingency plan for invasion. It doesn't matter if it's
that's what it is.
That's what it is. It's just a different
scale. You don't
scale.
immediately know what their motives are.
Exactly.
So I would like to think, and this is wishful thinking, that our contingency plan lines up with other governments of the world. Maybe not every government, but our allies.
Yeah.
Their contingency plan matches ours. We're all in communication about that. It's at least the one thing we can agree on.
Right.
Even if we do consider some of these other countries enemies, we can agree on.
If aliens show
If aliens
up
show up, we gotta
and are acting up,
we gotta be on the same side here.
we're going to come together.
Right, exactly.
To blow them out of the sky.
But until then,
I will say a decent chunk, definitely not all, though.
no. Well, yeah,
I mean, hell, we can't even join together to save our own bloody planet.
No. Anyway, that's a topic for a whole different episode.
I'm not going to be around for it. What's the big deal?
Yeah. For what? Saving the planet?
Yeah,
or
I mean, by
dying?
the time it's dying, I'm gone. And it'll be all right.
Yes. Thank you for watching this episode of the Conspiracy Cast. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. What would your contingency plan be? Would it just be to run in the other direction?
I would get my gun.
Realize they're everywhere.
Fire it into the sky.
Yeah, because that would go well.
Go away, aliens.
Go aliens. So straight on redneck.
Andy, they're on the other side of the planet.
Oh, my bad.
They might get there.
You don't know.
Sorry.
I'm arcing it. My bad.
Yeah. So let us know what you would do, what you wouldn't do, what your plans would be, and would you want to be on that team or that board of directors or whatever you want to call it, the council of
Team Contact.
Yeah, team contact.
The Council of Contact. No?
Yeah.
It started off cool and then kind of fell flat.
The Council of Extraterrestrial Talking Tours.
Talking tours?
Talking Tours.
Okay. All right. They meet weekly with a potluck, I guess. So, thank you. This has been Gary. You're welcome. You can find me on Twitter, again, at Film Circuit, and Instagram at Northward Films. Andy?
You can find me on Fry and the Andy on Instagram. Took me
You
a
always
second.
have trouble
Yeah, I
finding
don't
it
know
where
why.
you
I only
want.
got one.
I was going to
You think
say,
I
you
would
don't have to
remember
think
it,
much.
yeah.
You can find me at Dan T Producer on Twitter and Instagram, Dan T Streamer on Twitch.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye. Glorp, everybody.
I love you. Illuminati.